Okay, so I'm here with Dave. Dave's agreed to speak to us today and sort of expand on how he got on in his program. Dave's been working with me for 6 months now, I do believe. So,
That's
Dave,
right, yeah.
do you want to introduce yourself? Tell everyone who you are, what you do.
Hi, I'm Dave Robinson. I work as a mechanical design engineer, so I spend most of my time sat in front of a screen. Um, and Yeah, I got to the point where earlier in the year I was at about 14 and a half stone, so 91, 92 kilos, and I had a wedding in 4 months' time and decided it was time to do something about it. So ended up enrolling with Chris, and he put me on a straight and narrow, really, as far as understanding and appreciating the good and bad things to do with food and changing my sort of mental approach to it as far as um, choosing the right snacks and choosing the right meals, portion controls, and taking on board the benefits of drinking more water and the intermittent fasting, which I've been doing all this time now. And 6 months down the line, it's just normal. And I would say that the changes that I've implemented in my food sort of regime since I've been working with Chris, it just becomes a norm now. And I found it really, really easy to do the changes. I got my now wife involved with it as well, and she was on board with the changes to eating healthier. And we found that the changes weren't that drastic. There was, dropping snacks and stuff like that really wasn't too hard. But I can say that now. It was probably hard the first week or so, but you find that a packet of crisps, as satisfying as they are, taste-wise, they're not filling at all. And then there's something in there that says to you, "Oh, I better have another packet," and then you've got more of the bad stuff that's in the crisps in your body before you've realised it. So yeah, I've had about 3 packets of crisps since I started the program, and I don't really miss them that much. We still have the nice treats every now and again, bit of cake, bit of biscuits, pizza, all that sort of stuff. But I understand that that's a treat, and you don't have it every time. And if you get back on the bike, having the healthy stuff on your sort of regular day-to-day sort of eating routine, it really works. And in a way, it's actually more satisfying and filling having the healthier food, bulking it out with healthier stuff on top of the protein still to give you the energy, has worked really, really well. And yeah, I feel I'm lighter now than I've been since my first wedding, I think, which was in 1992. So it just goes to show how effective this program's been, I think.
So you said 14.5 to start. So how much do you weigh now?
I weighed myself this morning and I was 12 stone, 2.5, which is what, 77 and a half kilos or something like that.
Decent,
So,
isn't it?
yeah, really, really pleased with that.
Awesome. How did you feel before then? So if you go back to when you were 14.5, 91, whatever metric we're using, how did you feel in yourself, energy levels, clothes fitting, that sort of thing?
Well, I didn't realise I was as chubby as I was until I took those horrible photographs of you standing there in your pants with your belly out. Um, and that's a real sort of like, red flag. You see yourself in your pants and you think, that's not really a good look. Um, but I think I was probably in denial that I was as in bad a shape as I was,
Hmm.
because I like to think I was quite fit. I was play a bit of golf. I sort of tend to either push my clubs in a trolley or carry them. But now I'm carrying a lot less weight as part of my body as well. I reckon it's gone down by about 15%. Carrying the golf clubs is there's less weight in total to carry around the golf course. So, but yeah, it's just yeah, I do feel much better, and it's quite sort of like quite heartwarming to sort of get comments from people you meet on a regular basis to say, yeah, you look fantastic, sort of thing. And I even had one of my wife's long-term friends when he turned up at the registry office for the wedding, which was back in June, and I was standing there waiting for Julie. He said to his missus, "Well, where's Dave then? Where's Dave then?" and he just didn't recognise me. Might have been because I was wearing a suit. He's not used to seeing me dressed like that. But yeah, I just looked so different that he was not. He just didn't think it was me.
That's awesome. Is it in terms of the program then, did you have any concerns about joining? Was there anything that sort of worried you or that you weren't sure about?
Well, I think there's always a little bit of trepidation about going into sort of something online. But after having an introductory chat with yourself, that sort of made me feel a lot better about engaging with this.
Yeah, that makes sense. And was there any sort of specific sort of turning point in the program where there's sort of light bulb moment, or has it just been a sort of general sort of move in the right direction?
I think it's a general sort of move in the right direction, and I think over the period of time where I've sort of learned a lot more about sort of like the food tech side of it, what's good, what's bad. And now I'm always looking out for stuff like this now. It's like we were saying before we started recording this about sort of like, following people that are giving advice and that. And obviously, you take a lot of it you see online with a pinch of salt, but there's people that I will go to um, that I respect their opinions and sort of take it on board. So, but also you listen to these people, and my wife's pointed out a few of these things in the past, but now you look at it and listen to it with a much more sort of open-minded approach and take it on board, and you can sort of see there's this one guy that I've watched a video of. I think it's one of the Van Tulleken brothers on BBC quite often, and I think he was worried about becoming diabetic because he was getting in such a bad state, and he sort of turned himself around, and in the process, he's learned a lot about food, and now lectures at the Royal Institution about it and stuff like that. So, somebody that's doing that is not some fly by night trying to make a quick buck on YouTube by saying, "Oh, yeah, buy this snake oil and it's going to make you thinner," sort of thing. And yeah, it kind of is the norm now. I would say that the changes that I've taken on board were low hanging fruit, and by that I mean it's quite easy to make these changes, and particularly having the support as well from my wife as well. That's sort of contributed to the ease of the transition from just eating what I wanted to eat and thinking, "Oh yeah, I'll be all right," to eating what I should be eating, and all of a sudden, I've got down to 34-inch waist, which I never thought I'd get down to.
Is the food still enjoyable? Do you still, I think you mentioned earlier, didn't you? You still have cakes and pizzas and things like that, but is the general diet enjoyable, would you say?
Oh yeah, yeah. Once we sort of figured out what textures I liked, I'm not a big fan of tomatoes, so I don't really bulk out a salad with tomatoes. But I kind of like the crunchier stuff, so we put peppers and radishes and celeries in there, and more leafy salads, and then have that with some fish or chicken and stuff like that on a regular basis. Occasionally, we put have it with some bread or crackers or something as well, just to sort of mix it up a little bit and make it a little bit interesting. And yeah, I really really enjoy it. Really enjoy it. And if I'm having a hot dish, there's usually a lot more veg on the plate now. Even if it's like a roast or a pasta dish as well, there's more veg in there, and I really don't mind it at all. It's been, the meals are, I would say, more enjoyable.
Awesome. And did we weigh anything? Did we go down like the macros route or anything like that, or was it simple?
No, it was just like, here's your plate. We're going to put a salad on it.
Simple
Oh.
stuff. It was a bit of a leading question, I know. No, it is about, for me, it's about the balance. It is about simple stuff. You mentioned you go golfing, you do go out snooker pool, isn't it? That you on a
Yeah,
Monday
yeah,
night, and there's always the sort of crapper foods on option, isn't there? But it's just about balance, isn't it? Not doing it all the time.
yeah, yeah.
No, that makes sense. So in terms of life now, then, how does it look for you? Like, what's the next step for you? Is this something you're going to carry on going? I think you mentioned a bit more activity was something you're looking towards, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I want to sort of get more exercise in sort of like the weekly routine in some form or another, and that's just down to me to doing it. I know I can do it. I've got the time to do it. I just need to do it. But I just find that with work sometimes you think, "Oh, I've got to get this finished," and you end up doing a longer day sometimes than you would ideally want to do. Um, so that does sort of like, and then sort of like sometimes I'll work through until meal time in the evening, and then it's meal time. I don't want to do some exercise straight away after a meal, so then that kind of sort of almost precludes the opportunity to do some exercise that day if I haven't done it earlier. So it is just, you know, looking at my routine and seeing where I can fit it in and just saying, right, I've got to do this, got to do that at that sort of time. That's just down to me. And I know I can do that at some point.
Yeah, but you're happy that all the changes that we've implemented so far, you're happy that's going to stick?
Oh, as far as I'm concerned, this is the new normal.
Awesome. So if anyone's watching this, if anyone's sort of on the fence, they're not sure, they think I'm some charlatan or something like that, like you say, after that quick book, what would you say to them around, around the program? What advice would you give them?
I would say have an entry sort of introduction interview with Chris. It's probably only going to take half an hour. He'll tell you, you know, what's going to, what potentially could happen, and and just go into it with an open mind. You know, this is not a charlatan. He's not some bloke trying to make a quick buck on the internet. And yeah, it's worked for me. I think I think for me it's been a success. And yeah, it's just nice to sort of, I don't know, meet an honest person on the internet sort of thing, because you hear so many stories about dishonest people on the internet. So yeah, I mean, Chris, all I can say is thanks very much.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. Is there anything else you want to sort of cover? You're quite happy we've sort of gone through everything?
I think it's covered everything really. Yeah,
Awesome. Well, look, from my point of view, and I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to be, nice on the internet, as it were, but in front of everyone, it has been a genuine pleasure. You've just got on with things. I know, obviously, I know busy with work, so being behind the desk, and obviously you travel to Belgium, once a
yeah,
month,
yeah.
give or take, don't you? So obviously, I know there's been some time limitations in there, but you've always got on with things. You've always shown up. You've always been open and honest, and ultimately, that's all I can ask for. And your results speak for themselves, don't they? Like, you've made a massive difference in terms of your health. So from my point of view, big ethos of my program is sort of making sure these changes are long term. It's not a quick fix, it's about a long term change. So keep going with it. Keep just stacking on those bits of exercise here and there. It doesn't have to be everything, just little bits, just to make sure that you never go back to that 14.5, 91 kilo guy, which I don't think you're going to, are you?
No, I think I'll recognise the signs long before I get back up there.
Awesome. Well, look, thank you very much for your time. Yeah, and I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
In a bit.